A lot of people in occupational therapy, private pay practices can, become really stressed out thinking about competition. In fact, a lot of times OTs will feel very intimidated by competitions in their city or town so much that it may actually even give them pause to starting that business in the first place, right? And then once they open the doors, they start to feel the intense pressure of competition. And the competition, look, it could be from another OT practice or a PT practice, and all of these fears start to creep up. What if my competitors reduce their rates? How am I going to compete against them? Or maybe, that new clinic just hired a new therapist with some great skills, and you start to become worried that your clients will book with that new therapist instead of coming to your practice, right? Well, in this video, I am going to show you how we not only dealt with competition, right, but how we thrived despite there being a ton of competition in our town. And it may surprise you to find out that the number one competitor to your practice isn't actually another practice at all, right? And once you understand that and how to deal with it, you won't be worried about competition again. Hi, my name is Doug Vestal, and I help OTs start and grow thriving private pay practices. And OT school doesn't teach any business skills, and I'm on a mission to fix that. I think the world needs more OT entrepreneurs just like you. We founded a very successful private pay practice in New York City, and I really make these videos so that you can have success even faster from the lessons that we learned. Let's jump right into this topic of how to deal with competition. So of everything I'm going to cover, here is what I would say the most important thing. This is what I teach in my online course, Private Pay MBA. And it's this little fact. When we realized it, completely changed how we viewed competition and how we marketed our OT practice, okay? Your competition isn't the other practice on the other side of town. Your competition isn't the practice that is cheaper. Your competition isn't the practice with the fancy name, all right? Dan Kennedy, who is a famous marketer, said that each and every business needs to be able to answer one single question, right? And the question is, why should I choose you over each and every one of your competitors, including the option of just doing nothing? And it's this last part of the sentence, the option of just doing nothing. That is your main competition. Because here's the truth. Most people don't seek out OT services even if they could benefit from them, right? If we think about it, there's three types of people as it relates to your OT services. The first is someone who has a problem you can help them with and is actively searching for a practice to book with. The second type of person is someone who has a problem that you can help with, but is doing nothing about it, right? They've decided that either they don't want, don't need, or don't know that help is available. And the third type of person is someone who just, doesn't have the problem that you can help with. So for those people, we're not going to worry about them, right? They're not going to be your clients because they don't have that problem, right? Most practice owners really only consider that first person, the person with the problem who is actively searching out help. But the problem with this is that everybody goes after that person. You have to capture this person right basically when they're doing the Google search for, XYZ therapy services close to me, right? Because they're very eager. And in terms of percentages, very few people actually fall into this category. And yet everybody worries about this while ignoring the second group of people, all right? The second group of people are people that you can help, right? But yet don't yet know that a solution exists. So many practices ignore this person, but this second group of people is by far larger than the first group, right? Most people live in pain or discomfort or with problems for a long time before taking action. So your biggest competition is from the individual itself. Your biggest competition is education provided to your future client that solutions exist. And your marketing material should be focused on educating this person what options are available to them, right? Your marketing material should be focused on influencing this person that the problem they have that they didn't think could be solved, that they're just living with, is actually something other people have dealt with as well and have gotten better through the services you are recommending. Your marketing material should be geared towards this second person, right? You are building a long-term relationship with this person, right? And that's through the education that you are providing them. You are starting to motivate them to take action by realizing that their problem isn't something they need to live with, any longer, right? And guess what? Your other competitors, by and large, ignore this group of people, even though it is huge. So when you connect with this person, when you add value to their life before they ever even pay you, then that is when it's time for them to take action, you are going to be the one for them, right? You are the expert they trust. They have built that connection with you. They want to work with you in your practice. They won't even consider other options in your area. They probably don't even know other options in your area because they already know, like, and trust you. This insight was absolutely huge, and it changed the entire direction that we took with our OT business. The second thing I want you to realize is that competition can actually be good. Yes, it may not feel like it, but if you are opening an OT private practice and there are already, successful, established practices in your area, that is actually a good thing, right? It shows you that on some level there is demand in your area and at least enough potential clients to support your practice, right? I always recommend new OT practice owners to really niche down and really find, their ideal client. But you don't want to niche down so granular that there isn't just, the physical number of people available to support your business, right? So the twist about competition is to really view it as a bit of proof of concept for your niche, right? It can give you the green light that there is actually good potential there, right? Now, the third thing we recommend is that you embrace the abundance mindset when it comes to your competitors, right? There is enough business for all of you. There are enough clients to support everyone. Because if you serve the types of clients, right, I guarantee your approach, personalities, business operations will differ enough, right, from your competitors that only clients are going to benefit. And what we did in New York City was we actually organized a professional group with, quote unquote, our competitors, and we called it a study group, right? And we invited physical therapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, doulas, you name it, right? To all get together once a month for networking. And we'd cover case studies, clients, books, articles, whatever was topical, right? And this was all done with the intention of lifting up our work, right? That we were stronger when we were connected and that we could share clients because no one client was the same. No approach was going to be the same. No solution was really going to be the same for each client, right? And through that, right, that actually became a really incredible source of referrals for us, right? Everyone got to know each other a lot better, right? And could actually refer to each other for their unique strengths. And in the end, only our clients benefited by getting the help and resources they needed because all the practitioners in the area were connected and had their interest best at heart, right? The fourth thing goes back to the first thing I said. You have to differentiate yourself, right? So in the beginning, we focused, on that statement, including the option of doing nothing, right? What Dan Kennedy said. But the first part of the statement, right, was why would someone choose you over each and every one of your competitors? And being able to answer this question is incredibly important, right? You need to go beyond just surface level things like we provide great care, right? Everybody says that, right? Everyone says we put our clients first, or we help those in pain feel better, right? Differentiating yourself encompasses everything from the language you use to describe your practice, to the actual experience you provide in the session, to the types of follow-up that you do after each session. So let me just give you one example, right? Let's say that you work with postpartum women, and in the session, your client shares with you that with all the caring for the baby she just had, she feels like her and her spouse are drifting apart. But she's really excited because for the first time since the baby was born, she's actually gotten a babysitter, and her husband are going to their favorite restaurant for their first date night ever, right after the baby. Well, what could you do to really differentiate yourself? What could you do to really be preeminent? What could you do to really have this client sing your praises, not just by what you're doing in the session, right? That's a given. Those are your clinical skills. But what are you doing from a client relationship perspective outside of the session? Well, what you could do is you could call the restaurant and you could arrange for a bottle of wine to be delivered to their table right when they sit down. Or you can have a dessert, right, delivered at the end of the meal with some flowers. And in each case, you could accompany this with a card that you hand wrote celebrating their date night. Imagine how your client will feel when she's on the date night with her husband or spouse and this happens, right? It is just going to completely light her up and make that an even more memorable experience. So is this work, right? Does it take effort on your part? Yes, but your competition won't be doing things like this. So it is incredibly easy to provide this type of high-touch service. You have to remember, more than anything, right? People will remember how you made them feel, right? There are literally 1,001 small and big ways for you to differentiate yourself. So use your creative juices, right? And realize that this is your business, right? You are only limited by what you are willing to do. And if you follow these 4 tips, then I guarantee you will be a lot more confident about competition in your area. And if you are in private pay and nervous about, answering this question of whether or not you accept insurance, then be sure to check out this video right here.